Ooh, I don't have my thing up yet. People are watching us now. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. It is 7:00 on Wednesday. That means it's time for Sci-Fi Distilled. And welcome, Mary Beth. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Another week.
Another week. The heat is about to come this way. We're about to get hit.
Yeah, it's really bad out west. So hope anybody who might be watching from out that way is able to get out of the heat. They said like Phoenix or something was like 115 or 120 sustained. Like
unbelievable.
It's just crazy. Yeah, no global warming. There's no climate change.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, my electric bill's literally been like double because
we're running air
conditioners 24/7.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Absolutely crazy stuff.
So just tonight we're kind of doing the reverse of what we did last week, which was games that became movies and the movies tanked. This one is games that became movies and they were a hit.
Yes.
So we're going to cover a bunch of those because there were actually quite a few. There was a lot of stinkers too. We could have gone a lot on the stinkers.
True, we absolutely could.
But there was I was surprised how many really good quality TV and movies came out of video games.
Yep.
So kind of seeing this merging of these two media
franchise.
Yeah, they're really branching out. Used to be like if there was a really popular movie, they would come out with a video game really quick and it would always be crap.
Yes, that's true.
We're just banking on the on the name recognition of the movie, and the game would just stink because they didn't spend any time on it. They just like it. I always equate it to the Spock helmet with the that came out the toy.
Slap it together.
Put something slap Star Trek on it. Sell it. So anyway, so we're gonna talk about that, but I'm sure we have news, and of course we're gonna do our Strange New Worlds thing.
We have news, and we will have strange new thoughts in the news tonight. In what I call no shit Sherlock news, because this is just season 2 of Silo has been indefinitely delayed due to the strikes. Of course it has. Do you know how many things have been indefinitely delayed?
Yeah, it's going to be a desert. It's going to be a desert.
Coming up pretty soon. If they don't resolve this, it's going to be a desert. Moving on. In real life news that Rizzo hates because he hates when I do real life news. Move over, cocaine bear. We now have cocaine sharks. Scientists say sharks may be feasting on the drugs that are dumped into the waters off the Florida coast. So much for regular Sharknado. We now have Sharknado on coke.
So, but if it's like marijuana, they're just gonna be like really mellow.
But then they might be chill. But it feels like a shark is the last creature you want coked up.
I don't know how their brains would react on.
I don't even know if it would affect.
Not a marine biologist, nor do I play one on TV.
I think the moral of the story is don't be dumping your drugs
into
the ocean. Moving on, kids. This is everything that we have learned at San Diego Comic-Con last weekend. San Diego Comic-Con, I'm told, or I'm not told, I read that it was actually pretty well attended, despite the fact that all the striking had caused a whole bunch of actors and panels to be canceled. But people still went, and this is what we have learned. We got a look at season 2 of Invincible. If you like The Boys, this is animated and has that same psychopathic quality where they're like ripping people apart and there's literal intestines.
Psychopathic quality. That's a good
one. One guy's kind of a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's animated, but they draw it all out. They draw all the gross out. They leave nothing to imagination.
I'll have to watch them.
You might like it. It's November 3. We got to look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. And Nickelodeon confirmed it has secured the rights to all 193 episodes of the original series that aired from 1987 to 1996. That's the song I think of when I hear, that's the little song in my head that's going, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that thing. Okay, moving on.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Heroes in a Half Shell. Turtle Power.
I was too old for that.
So. I was too. It was on. Like, it would be on TV.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm aware of them, but
yeah, you're aware. We got a good look at the Star Wars game Outlaws. That looked pretty cool. They announced The Boys spinoff. It's called Gen V. It premieres September 29. Marvel Comics teased something really big coming for the X-Men. I don't know what, but whatever they're going to do in the comics, you know, it eventually ends up on the screen. So stay tuned for that. The MCU did release the official trailer for The Marvels ahead of its November 10 release date. AMC announced 2 of its Walking Dead spinoffs, Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and Walking Dead Dead City, are getting a second season, which I didn't even know they already had a first season. I guess I missed that.
It just needs to end.
And then, plus Walking Dead's Rick and Michonne. You guys remember Rick and Michonne? Yeah. They have their own spinoff. It's called The Ones Who Live. So they're going to they've already had a teaser. That's a lot of Walking Dead.
It's just it just needs, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it just needs, they're trying to milk this franchise. They milked the original show way too long.
And we're about to talk about a franchise that gets milked, and it's still not, and it's also a zombie franchise, and it's still not as bad as this.
No, Walking Dead was so good when it started, but by season 4 or 5, it became so repetitive and the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm like, just end it.
I absolutely agree. When you try to stretch these things out, guys, the quality of writing.
To me, one of the most interesting storylines that they start, which really piqued my interest towards the middle, I should say, is when they met Eugene and he said, "Oh, I have a cure for the zombie plague. Like, I can fix this." And they had to get him to Washington or something. And then it turned out he was lying, which I guess follows the comic books. So I guess since I didn't read the comics.
Yeah,
but I'm like, oh, wait, this is kind of interesting. We're going to find out more about what happened. Like, why? Because they never explain anything about, at least in the original show. I don't watch the other ones. So I didn't know if, I didn't watch what's Fear the Walking Dead, which was the prequel sort of series.
A lot. It's a lot of zombies.
Yeah, it just needed to end. I think AMC is trying to milk it too much. Maybe if they're making money on it, well, then I don't know what I'm talking about. But in my personal opinion, enough.
I completely agree. Let's finish San Diego Comic-Con here. The producers, no, it's fine. I like commenting on the news. The producers for Rick and Morty shared the new details for the upcoming season. The biggest takeaways are that they have almost cast the new Rick and Morty, I guess, because Justin Roiland, who's out, did them both. Season 7 is coming. DC announced its next 2 animated movies, Crisis on Infinite Earths and Watchmen. I'm cool with Crisis. That remains to this day one of the most iconic graphic novels. It was released in the 80s, but to this day it's one of the most iconic and popular graphic novels. Watchmen, we've already had 2 live action versions of. I don't know that we need more Watchmen, but all right, whatever. Netflix announced the 5th season of its anime series, The Dragon Prince. It was supposed to premiere tomorrow, but they dropped it last weekend because surprise, surprise. And now all the Star Trek news we got, and the first thing everyone already should know about, is they dropped that crossover episode early. Woo, woo. Everyone was happy, and so far, everybody loves it. We found out Lower Decks is coming out December 7th. We got a new disco trailer. I can't lie. I didn't really watch
it. It was earlier than December. It was September.
Yeah, sorry. September. I'm sorry.
I was like, not December.
It says
September.
September.
Me wait 6 months.
Right there, September. Sorry, my bad. And we also found out Strange New Worlds is doing a musical episode. I'm not down for that. I'm not down for that.
This show, well, we're going to talk about it, it's a comedy. I'm sorry, it's not a drama or action series. It's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
It's a dramedy.
It's a dramedy. So with the 50th anniversary, the last piece of Star Trek news was with the 50th anniversary of the animated series. They've announced 5 new character-based animated shorts. I did enjoy their shorts, so maybe I'll enjoy these. I don't know.
Disco shorts?
No. These are
the Strange New Worlds shorts. Yeah, they did have.
Well, no, they're just saying as the anniversary of the animated series. I think these shorts are going to be in the animated series style.
Oh,
They're
really?
going to focus on Riker, Quark, Saru, and Neelix, and another one. They said they'll announce more on Star Trek Day in September. Well,
Surprised they're not calling it Frontier Day.
Frontier Day. Those Old Scientists, by the way, is currently ranked number 1 out of 859 Star Trek episodes on IMDb.
Well, that's just because it just came out.
Maybe.
It wasn't that good. It was
kinda loved
good,
it.
but it wasn't.
I kind of loved it. All right, this is what's going to happen,
There
guys.
were better episodes than that.
Rizzo's about to put a countdown up. We're going to cover.
We have to do
2
Lost in
episodes.
Translations for
We're going
first.
to do Lost in Translation, and then we'll do These Old Scientists. So we're going to put the countdown up. The banner will go across the bottom
Let
saying
me get the
mute us or
banner.
whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
There it is.
If you
Okay.
don't want spoilers, mute now. Mute now. Mute now.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Play.
Lost. We're doing Lost in Translation, right?
Okay. So this is another character-based
It's Uhura this time.
episode. It's Uhura this time. And why does every backstory on every person has like it's bad? Like their lives were terrible.
Oh,
They
it's
had some
tragic.
tragedy. They all have tragedy. Like nobody had this happy family with noodle salad. You know, they all had some kind of messed up crap in their history. So her whole family was killed in a shuttle accident. Apparently that's still a thing. So anyway, but again, the strange new world. We did see a little bit of we had a strange new alien.
We
that
did. We
didn't
finally
see.
got something new.
So it wasn't horrible, but again,
Did you feel
yeah,
for a hot
but-
minute that Kirk would end up with Uhura? Like for a
well,
hot
there's certainly. Well, yeah. I mean, there was that, but I guess actually, I did first, but then I realized no. This is definitely more of a friendship. He's just mentoring her, kind of thing.
guess.
Than he is.
They did.
Than he
I
is
think-
hitting on her.
Yeah,
Um,
they did a nice little thing with La'an where she realizes, oh man, like yeah, this is heartbreaking. And they did a really nice little thing with Spock at the end where Spock meets Kirk and then there's a handshake. That was
Yes.
nice.
That's I guess how their first meet. I don't like them bringing Kirk in so much as much as they have.
Honestly, you know
I
what?
don't know why they're doing it. I don't really care for the actor playing. I shouldn't say I don't care for the actor. I have nothing against the actor. I just don't see him as James Kirk.
In the
I
original
think-
series, all Kirk really ever said of Pike was, yes, I met him right after his promotion to Fleet Admiral. And interestingly, he's temporarily promoted to Fleet Admiral.
But again, remember, you can't keep comparing this to TOS.
That's true.
Because
That's
this
true.
is Disco Universe, and I'm sorry, Disco Universe does not jive with TOS. It just doesn't. So they can do whatever they want. I mean, because Sam Kirk, I don't think was ever on the Enterprise. You know,
Ew.
so
He was married with a kid on
Yeah.
Operation Annihilation.
And
or
what is
whatever.
with his porn star '70s mustache?
it
I'm like, what is that choice? I don't get it. It's terrible.
because you know why? Because Shatner wore the mustache when he played Sam dead on the floor in Operation Annihilation.
Oh, I guess. Okay,
I think that's it.
we could have grown that later. We don't need it now.
It was an Uhura-centric episode. She did come through and save the day. You go, girl. But you're absolutely right. Why does everyone have to have a tragic backstory?
It's just, yeah, it was nice to see the engineer back there, kind of in the.
Yeah, it was
In,
nice to see
what was
him.
his name there? I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that was
Hemmer.
the Andorian. Yeah, that was cool. I liked him much better than I do. What's her name?
Hell yeah, I completely
As
agree.
engineer. I thought he was
love
actually one of the better
I love
characters.
Carol.
Yeah.
But
See,
it's
yeah,
hard
nothing
to
against
understand.
Carol, but we're out of time on this one. So, yeah, nothing against Carol Kane as an actress. Not thrilled with her character. So, okay, we good there? Last
good
one
there.
now the biggie, which is just now. I know for some of you guys, it's not airing till tomorrow.
So mute
that
now.
are outside the U.S., but the U.S. got to see it, and there will be a new one airing for the U.S. tomorrow. So, I guess so. Does that mean Canada's getting 2 tomorrow?
Yes, they are.
So we
Canada's
get
getting
2.
2 tomorrow.
So you get 2 tomorrow. So that's kind of cool. So you get 2 hours of Star Trek. So anyway, this next one is, of course, Those Old Scientists. So we're going to start the timer here. Let's go. Timer start. There we go. Okay, so this is the crossover episode we were waiting for with
I
Low Decks.
loved it.
All we're wondering, how are they going to do it? So
I
it's
loved
kind of another artifact, kind of Guardian of Forever sort of thing. Accidentally sucks Boimler They start out in
Animated.
in the animated version of Lord X, and then he gets sucked, and then he's of course live action, played by the actor who does the voice, and then eventually they accidentally suck Tawny Newson, Mariner's character there. Strike that, reverse it.
Boimler went first.
Well, Boylan went first, and then Mariner gets sucked too. So they're both. I kind of was hoping there was going to be more of them. It wasn't just those two.
No, just those
But,
two. This
it was a fun. It's a fun episode. It's funny. There's tons of jokes in it.
Tons of Easter eggs and jokes.
Lots of
Riker,
Easter
like
eggs.
Boimler getting on the saddle and going, Riker,
Yeah,
throwing his leg over. Riker, the way Riker always did.
yeah.
The way they were like, apparently they had the badge. Like apparently this is their communication. Their communication. And they're like, what? No, we like flipping it.
We like flipping is half the fun. Yeah. So a lot
Like,
of
there were
jokes
so
like
many
that.
little moments like that.
Yeah, there was times. There's a lot of little moments. Of course,
That's fun.
Boimler kept. He wasn't supposed to tell anything about the future, but he kept slipping up.
Blabbing it.
And of course, there was the awkward moment about number one there, Una's poster on his wall by his bunk, and of course, it's a recruiting poster. Now you've seen the recruiting poster. I thought what was hysterical on the recruiting poster is it's her holding a phaser,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
because that's what Starfleet's all about, shooting people.
Yeah, exactly. And double funny is right at that moment, Ransom walks by and says, "Oh, Una Chen Riley, the hottest first officer." Ransom is, of course, voiced by Jerry O'Connell, who is Rebecca Romaine's husband, real life husband. So the real life husband was complimenting his wife. That was funny. No, it was loaded with little Easter eggs, loaded with little jokes. I've seen it like 3 times now, and I'm still finding new things. It was so cute and funny and well done. And I think the best part was not Mariner and Boimler like fangirling and fanboying over the people they were meeting, but then Ortega starts fangirling over Mayweather, and Uhura's fangirling over Hoshi.
It's right. There was some really nice
It was just a really
nice nods to Enterprise, which is what I love.
Nods
Because you
to
guys know I love
Enterprise.
Enterprise, and I was
And
so
just-
hoping we would have seen a version of NX
Somewhere,
But we, but then there was a lot of reference to it.
It was just a nice little nod to the fans when we fanboy and fangirl.
that was
I
cool
loved it.
because I don't think Enterprise gets nearly enough love, and I'm glad that they're sticking stuff in there from Enterprise. So it was a good episode. Watch it, you'll enjoy it. It's fun. Don't look
Go
too
watch
hard.
it. Totally fun.
Yeah. Okay.
I
And
loved
we're
it.
done.
We're
And
done. That's our
New.
strange new thoughts for this
Banner,
week.
get rid of the banner. All right. So we are now caught up to now everything on Stranger World, and now we can talk about. Oh, we got a drink. Wait,
Well,
we got a
we have a
drink.
drink for tonight.
So
do.
this is the T virus, which is basically now one version I saw was dangerous, so I decided not to use that. It was basically the same thing, but instead of the watermelon vodka, they were using Everclear. And Everclear, if you
That's
don't know, that's essentially grain alcohol.
Yeah, that's some
And
hard
you have to be
stuff.
careful drinking grain alcohol. Pretty much its only use is to put in, like, it's the same use you use 151. You put it in your volcano bowl in the center,
you light
it on fire, and that's it. All it's for. It's basically like lighter fluid. So anyway, it's just silver rum, which is basically like Bacardi, watermelon vodka, and you put the blue Twizzler in there to make the look like
It does look like it. I will
it
give
does.
it.
It does.
It looks
does.
like the prop of the movie.
So that'd be kind of a cool. It's a shot, obviously, not
Yeah.
no. Who knows? Anyway, try it. I'd like to know what it tastes like.
Sweet.
Okay, so there's our drink. So we are talking about. So which I don't know what you want. You want to start with Resident Evil since
Yeah, let's start because that is the single most successful
I think
franchise
so.
ever.
From a game, I would say it probably
From a
had
game.
to be because they are still producing. I mean, I don't know how many movies there has been. Like
There's been
God,
several movies,
it's
and I
been
believe
more
a
than
TV
several.
series.
It's like been here. I got it on
And
Rotten
different
Tomatoes.
variations of the game too.
Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 films. 8 films. And a TV series now on Netflix.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And they
And the
say
TV
you
series
know
isn't
how-
bad.
And you know how they crank one out and they keep cranking them out and they're not that great. They say some of these are actually still pretty good.
This is what I'm saying about these movies. It's like, I think I was saying that to you earlier. It's like they're bad movies. I mean, they're like there's tons of plot holes, and it's like, but it's just like they're just there for entertainment.
This is a little War and Peace. This is just let's kill
they're
zombies.
usually like 90 minutes, so you're not talking about a long.
Yeah.
You know, it's just pretty much action, violence, ridiculous effects.
This is pretty much let's just dress Mila Jovovich in something scanty and send her out.
Well, that's not kind of how it started, but she's kind of like really. I mean, she is Alice, obviously.
True.
I mean,
True. Actually, you know,
she's obviously made her entire career on this franchise.
She has. I have to admit, I have never played this game, so I don't know.
I never played the game either. Yet I have an Umbrella Corporation sticker on my motorcycle.
Everybody knows what Umbrella
Corporation is. Everybody knows Umbrella Corporation. So it's
you know
like,
what Weyland Yutani is, so you know what Umbrella Corp is.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, the Umbrella Corporation. It's like, so the movies to me, I've always watched the movies. I never bothered to play the game. But yeah, it's kind of unbelievable, unprecedented, and you'd think like, well, how many times is she gonna have to get away from these evil corporate guys that have literally destroyed the planet? Because like the first few movies, they haven't, like, the planet hasn't been screwed, but then like on later films, the entire planet is like zombified.
But
and they're not even zombies; they're like
a little bit like aliens.
Mutated.
Speaking of Weyland Yutani, because remember Paul Reiser's character? Didn't they keep coming back? And they kept wanting to.
They kept trying to perfect. Yeah, to take with the xenomorph and somehow weaponize it.
These movies are tiny little protests against corporate America. They're just too
well,
focused
they're
on other
basically saying that they're all about money and they don't really care about anything else. So clearly that's the case.
Yeah.
But so, the basic is that Alice, she is infected with, but she mutated in a way that didn't make her into a monster. It just gave her certain abilities.
For a hot minute, Michelle. So Michelle Rodriguez is in this. I usually enjoy her
in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, she recently was in Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and she was quite good in it. I usually enjoy her. I know she got into some trouble with the law for a hot minute there, and she's trying to make a comeback. I really liked her character in this, and I thought she was going to make it. Like, she got bit way early on, and she survived that entire movie without changing until the very end. So I thought she was going to be the one that's like the immune one,
right?
That synthesizes.
Yeah, no, she was a good character. Some of the traps that they had set that the Red Queen had set for them was like
those lasers,
like the laser thing. Yeah, it's like, why is this here? You could just see Galaxy Quest. Why is this here?
This is stupid.
Who's stupid?
Who writes this?
It's like,
and it killed, and the crosshatches killed the one guy. Shade.
Yeah, and he just falls apart.
I liked him.
There's some fun. I mean, fun. It's gross. I mean, it
is gross.
It's kind of sad to say it's fun. It's kind of twisted, I guess, but it is fun in a way because it's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of twisted. It's kind of like why we enjoy The Boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
This kind of over the top.
You'd like Invincible too. Same over the top violence.
Yeah. So
way over the top. So they cranked this out for $33 million. It grossed over 100 and something, and then spawned this franchise. This is a wild success, and Hollywood does what Hollywood does and keeps going back to that well.
But the thing is, I don't know how successful the subsequent films were, but clearly they made enough money. Clearly, they enough men to keep making more.
Yes, obviously.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not like, we're rebooting it. It was always Alice.
Yeah.
It's always just more story about Alice. Sometimes they were clones. Sometimes they're Alice clones.
Yes.
But it was always.
But it's always Raccoon City. It's always the Hive. Well, no, I guess.
Well, not always. No, because Apocalypse, like they're like in what's left of Los Angeles and stuff like that. So they're not always in Raccoon City. Because the original movie, they're underground in the lab. They're in Raccoon.
That's true. Yeah.
But then they build Raccoon City, which is above ground.
Which is
where part of the. If you've ever seen the Netflix series. What that does is it flips back and forth between the time prior to the outbreak and then way past it. And it's the same characters, but we're seeing
they bounce it
back and forth. It's a little annoying. I usually don't like that, but it kind of works on that show. I'd give it a try. I don't know if Netflix is going to have a season 2 of it, but I thought the first one was pretty good, that first season of Resident Evil.
Interesting. I was looking at the movie. I was looking at the schematics of the underground.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, That's cool. And it reminded me of another first shooter because Resident Evil is a late 90s game.
Yeah,
It's
basically it's a platform type. Yeah,
It reminded me, did any of you guys ever play Half-Life? It's a game where you go out to the desert to this lab called Black Mesa, and I don't know what the scientists were doing out there, but they hit some vortex and started releasing like these weird alien creatures, and you go down and down and down, you're killing these creatures. It had the same
Yeah, it's like Doom. They all came out around
Doom,
that.
yeah,
Doom had a film.
Doom's another one.
Doom made a film and it didn't do good. Had The Rock, I think, was
I think it did.
Wayne Johnson, or they call him this week. So
there was like a slew. Like we should do the evolution of video games because that was like that era. All those first-person shooters, and then they kind of evolved to become multiplayer, and now we have the giant. MMO.
I mean, there's still plenty of. There's still first-person shooters. I mean, there's still a ton.
There will always be first-person.
But Doom was really the one that put it on the map. As far as first-person shooters, Doom was really the one that everybody played.
There's one called Descent or something too. There were just so many.
There's a lot of them that came.
And there were also the military-esque ones like.
Well, there's Call of Duty and
Call of Duty,
and there's a bunch of Call of Duty. They're still making Call of Duty. So anyway, I don't want to spend all night because we got a bunch to get through, but this one probably was the most successful. I can't think of another franchise that came from a game. I can't even think of a franchise that has 8 movies. Other than
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious is the first one that came to mind, which I've yet to see one.
There's others. Harry Potter has 7 movies.
Yeah, well, Harry Potter was following those books.
Yeah, Harry Potter's
and really they split the last into
they split the last book into 2 movies.
Really trying to milk it. So, and then the 2 spin-offs which weren't that good.
There are others with 7, but I don't know, man. They just keep cranking this out. Clearly it has an audience.
Yeah. Like I said, everybody loves the Umbrella Corporation. Is that really the right word? Loves? It's popular. Like you said, even I have a Wayland. I think you say I have a Wayland Corporation T-shirt.
Wayland-Yutani.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, Star Wars. Yeah, that didn't come from a game though, Sue. So Star Wars was Star Wars. Certainly, that's hard to compare Star Wars to any of these other franchises because that's like a thing on its.
Plus, it came trickling out over the course of so many years.
There were some really dry patches there for Star Wars.
Yeah, arguably this thing did too, but
I mean, we went over 10 years there for a while. Was it when did Jedi come out? It was like mid 80s.
Oh yeah,
mid early 80s, and then we didn't get till 98, 99.
When we finally got Phantom.
So yeah, there's
Force Awakens or whatever the hell the name.
And then Disney bought it, and now we're just like
and now we're being spoon-fed.
Flooded with Star Wars.
Spoon-fed whether we want it or not.
Apparently, I guess Lucasfilms didn't catch on to the other franchises.
Although I will not say no to some Grogu.
Yeah, no, the stuff that they've been producing of late, especially on TV, has been pretty good.
So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Andor.
I'm looking for Andor. I'm really looking forward to Ahsoka. The trailer looks amazing. I hope it holds up.
Yes.
Okay, so you can move on from Resident Evil. We all know.
Yes, we can, but we're going to stay with zombies. We're not moving on.
We're going to go next. Is going to be The Last of Us, which is another
video game great show.
Video game based on zombies, sort of, but really not zombies. I guess it's like they were infected by fungus.
It's a fungus.
So anyway, it's the HBO turned it into a TV show this last, what was it, spring one? Is it or winter?
Yeah,
last year, 22, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I've never played the game. And I know I've heard that the game has had a lot of acclaim. It's been, that they say it's amazing. And not just from a gameplay aspect, but the quality of the writing for the game. These games are becoming almost like films.
Yes.
The stories in these games have become as important as anything else because, like movies, we get kind of numb with special effects. It's like we need more than special effects now. We need to actually have a good story to go along with these special effects, and I think that's what The Last of Us does with from a gaming standpoint. But what HBO did, taking it to a TV show, they were first of all very faithful apparently to the game. Again, that's to that, but others that have played the games have said it followed the games very accurately. But I don't know what it is about this show, but it it really was good. I mean, it's like, and it wasn't just
It
I'm like,
was
oh, another zombie
compelling.
movie. It really doesn't. It's not the cool thing about it is it's not about the zombie, so to speak. It's about this relationship between these two characters.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what gets you hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said in my teaser, all of these movies, you don't have to have played the game. They stand alone as enjoyable movies on some level. Resident Evil, just on a straight up, it's a shoot 'em up movie. We're gonna go zombie hunting movie. Last of Us, much more in depth, character driven, with fully fleshed out characters. Relationship. Well, yeah, I guess we could say that relationship kind of movie, kind of TV show. Yeah, Last of Us is amazing. If you go on YouTube, you can find side by side how it played on TV and how it plays in the game. And you know what? It's word for word.
Well, they pulled
Almost.
people. Yeah, they even pulled some of the characters that voiced certain
Yes.
characters. They brought them back as actors playing different
Yes.
characters. So they kind of merged that, and they fleshed out some of the storylines that were in the game.
Just a very small aside, a very, very small aside. Speaking of, so we just saw that in the Star Trek crossover episode where people who voiced a character then played it live action. We've seen this in Last of Us. We saw Kevin Conroy, who voiced Batman for a million years. He actually played Batman in whatever that was. There's been a lot more of them than you think. If you want us to do a little,
don't forget about Bo-Katan.
And Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff voiced her on TV and then came to play her in real life. There's been a slew of them. If you'd like us to take a little deep dive into that, we'd be more than happy to. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, so the question is, on that point though, is the chicken or the egg? Did they pick the person for the voice and then model the character on screen after the actor who's voicing it, or is it?
Great question.
That
is a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
No, I don't. And it's probably not the same for each character. So, but yeah, I mean, Pedro Pascal, I think somebody once described him as a national treasure. I'm starting to agree with that.
He's our space daddy.
He's so great. Please don't find out that there's some bone in your closet that we don't want to know about. Because this is what always happens. I find somebody like this. And
you really enjoy, and then you find out
something. They do something like I used to be such a fan of Lance Armstrong, and then you're like, well,
yep. I hear you. Yeah,
so Pedro, please. I hope if there's bones, we don't want to know.
Yeah, for a hot second, Pedro had that and Mandalorian at the same time. And he just was.
Well, he's essentially voicing Mandalorian. He's not in the suit that often.
That's true. He's almost never in the suit anymore.
Almost never in the suit unless he has the helmet on.
Shame, I don't know. I feel like.
Well, you figured most of it's stunts anyway, so.
Well, that's very true. That is very true.
And then, of course, and then Bella Ramsey playing the
Ellie.
Yeah.
That's her name, Ellie. Yeah.
Ellie.
Did you remember her in Game of Thrones? She was
awesome in Game of Thrones. And it's funny because I kept looking, I'm like, where do I know her from? Like, I do this all the time. Like, I'll be watching this show and I'm like, where do I know her from?
That thing right in its eye.
I looked it up and I'm like, oh, she was the little girl in Game of Thrones. That she was like, she ended up getting killed though, right?
She was someone of the North. I don't remember. She
ended up she took one of the kingdoms because everybody else died. So she was like the next one in line.
So she was it. She's like,
she played Ellie Williams so well. I don't know. You just like this character right out of the gate.
She's a little brash. Like she has moments, but
you think how she grew up, it kind of fits, right? I mean, if you're kind of in that environment, because this is like a survival mode type environment. If you're not gonna be able to hold your own, you're probably gonna die pretty quick.
One would think, unless you're always within the shelter of those cities.
The way the cities, yeah. But anyway, what a great series! I can't wait till season 2, whenever that's going to air now. Because
I have no idea. I do not know. I'm guessing.
I don't know where they were with shooting season 2. If it got through principal photography, then
there's
a good chance it'll be out because the strike won't affect that. But if you haven't seen it, guys, get HBO, even if it's just for a month, and watch.
Yeah, and binge.
and binge it. It's what, 10 episodes? 10 episodes, I think.
Not even, yeah.
But yeah, great stuff. Really, even if you're not into the zombies and you're not into the video game aspect of it, like I said, the zombies are kind of like this extra thing it's just the world they're in. That's not really what it's about. There's as much conflict in this. There's
Between
even
the
more
people.
conflict between humans than there is between humans and the zombies.
Which is also what Walking Dead tried to do, but after 97 seasons of it, you were kind of
That's what I'm saying. It got old. It was the same scenario over and over and over again. They would establish themselves. There'd be a baddie that tries to unestablish them, and they would have to move. And then they'd overcome the baddie, but they'd have to move.
But they still have to move.
They'd find another place, and then there'd be a new baddie.
Yeah. Last of Us at least had a like they were driven. They had a goal, and they did indeed follow that goal the entire season. They did very well.
Yeah. So.
All right, shall we stay with a first-person shooter, the game, those kinds of games, or shall we move into a different kind of category?
Well, I don't no matter. What do we got? So we have the other big one we were going to do is The Witcher.
Yeah, let's start. We can do The Witcher because that is clearly having its moment.
So I will admit I'm not sure if somebody maybe online can tell me if the book came first or the video game came.
Yes,
first.
we were wondering that. Which came first, the book or the video game?
But the video game certainly has taken off, especially with the third
season part 2. I should do this. Third season part 2 airs tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. I've only seen 2 of the first 2 episodes of season 3 so far. But I mean, the third game, Witcher 3, was super popular and it's super massive. I mean, the world they built, and then there's the 2 add-ons, which is one of them has another whole map that you can explore. It's unbelievable. You could spend countless hours playing that game and not do everything.
And what's killing me is I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill had played all that. Like I think he had been there and done that.
Well, maybe because the thing is they couldn't have cast anybody more. If you watched, I know the game came out for the TV show, and if you play the game and then you watch TV show, you're like, holy crap, he looks exactly like the character.
Yeah, he really does.
Now, I know they do makeup and everything like that, but he fits.
He's perfect. He's a perfect
character. Like
he is the Witcher.
He is the Witcher. So I don't know how they're going to. Because I know he's not going to be season 4, right? They said they're going to have somebody else.
Nope, it's going to be Liam or one of the Hemsworth, not Chris. One of the other Hemsworths.
Interesting.
I think Liam. I'm really not sure which one. If you guys know which Hemsworth is about to take over this role, please let us know.
So did they ever find out why Cavill didn't want to do it again?
Oh no, I think he wanted to do it. I don't know why he was out.
Maybe
that was never clear.
Money? Wasn't enough money,
no,
or he wanted too much?
I think of course, they're always saying creative differences because Cavill probably wanted to stay very close to the source material, and they're as usual, as TV always does, and movies always does. They probably want to go their own off and make an experiment.
And again, it doesn't need to because again, the storyline in the video game with Witcher, this is a game I played the third one. That's the only one I played. Is very compelling. It's very interesting. The side missions have their own stories. Like there's whole massive side missions that you don't even have to play the main story. You know what I'm saying? They're not, but yet they have their own in-depth backstories and. So they put a ton of work into the video game and writing, and it's clearly done well. Yet, so why mess with success?
What a great question!
What the game did.
What a great question! Like Last of Us. Last of Us stuck tight, pretty tight.
We know studios have a history of breaking stuff.
I don't know why.
Why
do they always feel like
they think they know better?
Or you know what else could have happened? It could have gone this way. No, it already went that way. Let's just do it that way. I don't understand that, but
because right now with the way the TV show's going, they haven't caught up to like the third game as far as
you know what that's kind of what happened to Game of Thrones. Once they outstrip the books, and there's other shows that
they haven't caught up there.
They follow the books up to the book stop, and now they're in new territory, and they're like, okay, now what do we do?
But look what happened. What R.R. Martin didn't write the last series. What was it called? The Dragons thing.
Whatever the last one.
Whatever, the House of Dragon.
House of Dragon.
And it wasn't that good. It just wasn't. it was
They
meh.
got season 2. Season 2 is
It was-
coming, so we'll see where it
I'll
goes.
watch it, but I was like, meh.
Yeah, it wasn't as nearly as
It didn't
compelling.
have.
as
I don't know
season
why.
2.
Yeah, it just didn't draw me in.
I
Game of
liked Matt
Thrones,
Smith. I
loved.
liked Matt Smith. I liked the you know, the
Yeah,
actors.
it was that one just kind of went myth to me. I just like it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't like ooh, Game of Thrones. Like I did not, you know, and I when Game of Thrones just the trailer aired, I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I had no idea. I'd ever read the books, never heard of the books prior to the HBO doing the show.
Yeah.
So
Bill is saying the people who run the studios think they are creative, not realizing
that's true. They're
aren't.
just about
Yeah.
They're gonna.
If you're a suit, if you're upper management,
Well, that's just it. If you've worked your life to get to that point, you probably are not a huge sci-fi fan, video game fan. You know what I'm saying? Your priorities are different. Therefore, you have no idea what the nerds want.
yeah. Whereas someone like Terry
You
Matalas,
see that with everything. Yeah, Star Trek is a great example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry did a great job with
and Mike McMahon, I should say.
Picard,
Too.
and Blast did a great job with Picard.
Yes.
So season 3.
Yes. Yes. To clarify that.
Because even I don't want to give it. I was talking to Dave Blast at that weekend, and he would, you know, he could come out and say, "Yeah, the first season and the second season kind of sucked." But I got the impression that that's kind of where his feelings were.
Even people who work on a show can be disappointed with, you know, how.
Yeah, well, he was doing his job. You know what I'm saying? He's paying his bills. He's not going to go up to the people producing it. He's not going to go up to Kurtzman and say, "This is a piece
bite
of
the
crap."
hand that feeds you. No.
Exactly.
All right.
So yeah, Witcher's again. What are we? Season 3 now. So if you haven't seen it,
We're
on
in 3
Netflix,
now.
I highly recommend you watch it if you like that sort of fantasy,
fantasy,
you know,
yeah.
creatures, that sort of thing, sex,
Yeah,
which is very prevalent in the games as well.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
What's
you
the
go to
game
brothels
rated?
and it's not.
Must
I
be
mean,
rated T.
Yeah, it's fairly graphic. Again, it's not necessary. Well, there are because I suppose there are because there's love interests that he has, like with obviously with Yennefer and Trish.
Yennefer.
Yeah. So,
Yennefer.
so there's in there. It's in the game. It's
I
in
like
the game.
Yennefer.
Games
In the
are
game.
no
Do you guys
longer.
get mad
We've
at
come a
EA?
long way from Space Invaders. So,
All right, staying kind of in the realm of fantasy, let's move on to one that a lot of people actually don't know about. Let's talk about Arcane.
Arcane. I knew you were gonna. Yeah. I
love
stumbled
that
on this
show.
one. I stumbled on this on Netflix, looking around for something to watch. It's based on the game.
Arcane.
No, it's not. It's based on League of Legends.
Oh, is it League of Legends?
It's
No,
League of Legends that it's based on. I've never played that, so I don't. But I think it's loosely based. Like I don't think, but Arcane is nothing else. Arcane is a beautiful.
Oh God, was it beautiful and
artistic
different
drawing? I mean, it's just the animation is amazing and it's a great story. It's an interesting story.
So these two sisters, they get separated and their lives turn out very differently. And when they reunite, sparks fly.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna have a second season.
I don't know if they are either. The little sister ends up, frankly, crazy. Like she's crazy.
Yeah, but
she's like barely keeping it together. But it's
I really
so
think
good.
that it's a good story and it's an interesting story, and the character and the voicing is very good. Interesting character development on all of them.
Yes, absolutely. And it's another one of
just
these kind of dystopic things, but there's elements of magic woven in, like people.
there's like a science and magic kind of mixing sort of thing.
A little steampunky, a little
very
magic.
steampunky.
Yeah.
It's
great.
Almost has kind of a Japanese anime feel to it.
Very Japanese.
I don't know how else to describe it. It's just beautiful. I mean, even my wife, who's not a huge fan of science fiction or anything like that, loved this series.
That's what grabbed me first. The look of the series grabbed me first, and then the plot.
Again, if you have not watched it, I highly recommend. It's on Netflix, and it is worth. I think is it 8-10 episodes? And they're not. I don't even think they're full hours, half hours.
Not many.
But it's well worth your time to watch, just for the visuals alone.
Yeah, you're right. It is Arcane League of Legends. So the animated series is called Arcane or Arcane League of Legends. The game, Sue, is called League of Legends. But if you Google Arcane League of Legends, the images that start popping up are of the show.
Yeah, it's like I said. I think the
Jinx, the younger sister's Jinx.
The game is just a fighting game, I believe. It's like kind of like Mortal Kombat type thing, I believe.
And you will recognize a lot of the people that voice. I was really impressed with the voice actors too. You'll recognize a few of them.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Just go look at how pretty it is.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than I don't know how successful it was on Netflix as far as whether it warrants them making more. So this may not really fit.
I don't know. Supposedly it is in fact getting a season 2. However, I know nothing more about that. I don't know when, where, why, or how.
So, but I mean, we stuck it in there because we both love it and we think it's worth mentioning.
Oh, absolutely worth
mentioning. Nothing else, just to tell people go watch it.
Absolutely, and I think it definitely qualifies as a successful.
So if you haven't watched it, go watch it and then come back and comment somewhere on our page because I'm curious to see what people that haven't seen it think of it, because I always will expound on things and tell people how great it is, and then you always wonder, like I've told you, like with the what was the one show I kept telling you to watch?
So many. The Godfather
one. No, it was The Offer. I kept telling you to watch The Offer.
And I finally did. I was like, oh my God, it was so good. It was so compelling. I couldn't stop watching it. There's so many.
It was great.
All right. What else? What else are we looking at here tonight?
So moving on. So that kind of was the bulk of the thing. The other thing we were going to mention, and we can't go do this without mentioning Clue, which we did a whole show on Clue about a year or two ago around Halloween. What an amazing, great movie that was. Based on a board game.
So funny.
One of my favorite board games as a kid too. I just loved playing Clue with the family. But they did such a good job of taking a board game and bringing it to life.
Yes,
and of course the casting was amazing.
Yes,
Madeline Kahn, flames shooting. And of course we had Martin Mull was in it, right?
Leslie and what's her bucket?
Leslie and Warren, and then the one that played in 525, the mother. She was the
Colleen Camp.
Colleen Camp.
Me too.
And then, and then you had Professor Doc Brown there.
Doc Brown. Yeah, that's right. Christopher
Walken. Christopher.
What's his name?
Wow, why am I having this? Is awful.
What's Marty Brown's name? And he also played a Klingon once.
Right.
Can't think of his name, guys. Sorry.
Christopher Lloyd.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and this is the only example we have tonight of something from a board game.
Yeah, we did Battleship last week,
but it was so popular we have to do. Yeah, we did do Battleship.
Yeah, we did do Clue. I mean, and if you remember, those of us that this was what came out late '80s, I think.
Yeah.
They did it the way they did in the theater was they had different endings.
Yes.
So when you went to the theater, they would give you a card. I wish I'd kept it because they gave you a card and it had an A, B, C, or D on it, I think. And that was the ending you would get. And the reason they were doing that is because you could go back and see it again.
Yes.
And get a different ending. And it would be a different ending.
Ploy.
Now, what they did on the video release is they re-edited it so it was like you see all of the endings. But he goes, well, it could have been this way, and it could have happened. And then they go back, or it could have happened this way, and they go back, or it could have happened this way. I was always
disappointed because the endings only framed like 3 people and maybe 4 people of the 7 total. I was like, shouldn't there be 7 endings each so that each person gets a chance to be guilty? Done it.
Well, I think that would have just dragged it out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But you're right. So it was
funny.
Good. If you haven't seen Clue, you got to go. You got it. It's like
Clue. It is still a staple of like Halloween viewing, or even any time of the year.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Is it Martin? Is it follow the movie, or is it a completely?
I bet it's like going to see Rocky Horror. I bet people are shouting the lines out as the.
Yeah, I mean, I love that movie. Clue. I saw it when I saw the trailer for that. I was like, even back in the 80s, like, I got to see that one because I love the game so much. Yeah. And I don't know of another, like I said, too many board games that were turned into movies that were that successful.
That were that good.
That good. But again, it wasn't just the writing. I think the cast.
It came to first, and then it came a game.
Yeah. The casting was just amazing for it. And, Yeah,
The
it's
casting, the writing, the funny lines, like it's infinitely quotable. We still quote it to this day.
yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely. The only guy that I think was like an unknown was the guy that played Mr. Body, who was the guy who was the Body.
Oh, that was Li Ving. He
Yeah,
was
Li Ving,
actually
but I
a
mean, like,
wrestler, or he was
yeah, but I'm
somebody
saying he was
too.
essentially, he wasn't a, like every other person though was a known actor.
Was a known actor. He
Was
has a
a
known
known
quantity.
quantity for the
Well, it
most
might have been
part.
one of Colleen's first.
Colleen
things.
Brennan was in it,
Yeah.
right? Is that her name?
He was
Colleen?
who was in it? I am your singing telegram.
Yeah, I don't know who that actress was.
No, that was what's her name from the Bangles or the Go-Go's or one of those girl bands.
Now I got to look it up.
Go look it up. Walk Like an Egyptian, that band? I don't know, one of them.
Oh, was it? Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if was it 1985. By the way, is the film.
Whoa! I can't believe it.
Colleen
1985.
Camp. I want to say who was the other one that played the older lady?
Oh yes, Monkey's Brain Soup. I can see her.
Eileen Brennan.
Eileen.
Yeah, I got Colleen Camp and Eileen Brennan mixed up. Yeah. So and Bill Nye was on the. I guess he was one of the cops. Will Nye, rather, not Bill Nye. Will Nye. Howard Hessman, I forgot, was in it.
Howard Hessman was in it.
He was the FBI guy.
Yep.
They're leaving Leslie Ann Warren. I don't see who the Michael McKean. Forgot about him.
Michael McKean. Forgot about him.
The great Madeline Kahn. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Who was the one you're talking about? Let's see. All cast and crew. Who was the singing telegram? Singing telegram. Jane Wiedlin.
Jane Wiedlin. That's right. What was she in? The Bangles, the Go-Go's, one of those groups. Here, I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't know which one that was. Probably the Go-Go's, because I don't think the Bangles had hit just yet. The Bangles were a little bit later, like a year or two after that.
Nope, she was in fact the Go-Go's. So she was one of the, she was the Go-Go's. We got the beat. Vacations all.
Anyway, great film. And of course, I think this was Tim Curry's comeback film. He had done some other stuff, but this was the one I think that really kind of got him back in. First of all, he's an amazing actor, and I think we see that because of the way, especially when he does the in the video release, when he does the whole, it could have happened this way, and he's running back and around.
Yeah, he's running all around.
Running around and doing all those, showing you how everything happened. It was hysterical. But yeah, I mean, because Rocky Horror put a cramp in his, he wasn't getting hired a lot because nobody wants to hire the transvestite, even though he really wasn't a transvestite. So
he did it that well, kids. He did
it well.
He did it well.
But back then, that was like a stigma. You couldn't play a gay person.
Let me. I'm just looking to see what came in between Rocky Horror and Clue. I don't think they were back to back, but they might have been.
Rocky Horror was a 70s,
77, 78.
Yeah, so there's a huge gap.
Oh yeah, Rocky Horror was 75. He did a whole bunch of TV. Oliver Twist, Annie. TV, and then finally, Legend. He actually did Legend,
but he was such and such makeup. Because he's the devil.
Before he did,
he had amazing makeup in Legend.
But we should do Legend.
I think this is the movie. We'll do that. This
was like the movie
that really set his career back on track, in my opinion. It could be wrong.
So
anyway, we had to mention Clue. Other honorable mentions now that it's getting near the end. Halo. Which just aired on CBS or Paramount Plus, I should say.
And it's supposedly quite good.
So. I liked it. I played all of the Halo. Well, up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all. I haven't played anything past Halo 4. But of course, 3 was the big super popular one. It was a good game in its day. But it was it's a shooter game. It's really not. There's not a lot of story to it. There was basic story. It's kind of loosely based on Ringworld, and some very, 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 very loose. But the TV show is pretty good. The only thing I think a lot of people that are hardcore Halo fans didn't like how they deviated from the, in the game, Master Chief never takes his helmet off. He's kind of like Mandalorian. He's like,
he's just
never. And in the TV show, he's always got it off. He's got it off more than he's got it on.
Well, we need the
So
actors to
I mean,
emote.
yeah, the
We're
actors.
paying
So
them to emote.
I guess that bothered some people. But I think overall, I'm not, I wasn't like this hardcore Halo fan that, I have to have it exactly. What I did think they thought they did really good in Halo was like the ships and the vehicles they nailed. Like they are exactly like they are in the game. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like the Warthog, which is their
didn't redesign anything.
looking thing. The Warthog looks exactly like the Warthog from the game.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think that's cool. The drop ships are the same. So we'll see. I think they're going to season 2. I think I saw that.
I think
they are.
Season yes.
2, so
yes.
we'll see what happens. It should be
and coming soon. You said was
Fallout. Yeah, Amazon keeps teasing little bits and pieces. I know they were shooting some of it upstate New York, I think, or where was it? Massachusetts, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I want to say there was a gas station somewhere, I think near Glen Falls, that they were going to that they used that they took this old gas station and they falloutized it. They made it look like an apocalyptic,
Well, heck, next time we're in Ticonderoga, let's go.
I know. I got to find. I think they took it all apart because I think it was an actual functioning building that they. So, but yeah, Fallout, of course, is an old franchise. It goes back to the 90s. There's a current version up to Fallout 4, and then there's Fallout 76, which is the online, multiplayer version of it. So this is a Bethesda game, of course, which has now been bought by Microsoft. So I'm kind of a Fallout nut. I play it every day. I play Fallout 76 literally every day.
Do you really?
Yes, because they have
learning new things.
They have these damn daily quests that you do, and you're like, I have to do my daily quests for today. It's like,
yeah, I know
so
exactly.
I have to do them, so it's like I get mad, like if I'm away for days, like when I'm away at Tyke, like I didn't do my daily quests, I missed them.
Which for a hot minute,
it's a little obsessive. I admit it. So I'm curious to see what the TV show is going to be. They've teased a few pictures of it here and there. I don't know if it's how serious it's going to be. Serious. The game has kind of it's almost like a weird Art Deco-y kind of feel to it. It's like it's like as if the 50s, like what people imagined in the 50s the future was going to be like, was like the future. So like you have like the cars and like the furniture and everything looks very 50s like when the war happened, which happened actually in 2077 or 76 actually. So it's just bizarre. It's like this weird Art Deco-y kind of very 50s. Even the advertising is very that 50s kind of advertising, but it's like there's robots that fly like little repulsor rockets and things like that. So it's an interesting game. I like it. It's very popular, obviously popular enough that they're making a TV show. So we couldn't officially include it in this thing because we don't know what it's going to be.
We don't know how it's going to be, but
we're hoping to come out, I think, this fall.
All right, yeah, we'll have to check that out.
So we'll check it out. So we'll come back to. We'll do maybe a thing on Fallout when it's after.
I see Martin's quote and Tim Curry's 1 + 1 + 1 + 2, or is it 1 + 2 + 1 + 1 + 1 +. CW is saying yes, Legends and Labyrinth because that's Curry and Bowie, two of the greats. Yeah, maybe we'll have a Legends and Labyrinth night.
Labyrinth has a very strong following as well.
Yes, they both have little cult followings. Absolutely,
yes, the Bowie thing. Legend. That was Mia Sarah.
That's Tom Cruise and Mia Sarah. Yeah,
Mia Sarah.
And Labyrinth was Jennifer.
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth. He was David Bowie and Jennifer.
I know David Bowie was in it, but I don't know who was in.
What's her name? She just was in Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. Her. Connolly. Thank you, Sue. Jennifer Connolly.
Oh, Jennifer Connolly was in it? Really?
Yeah, pretty sure.
The only other thing I remember her from is the first Hulk movie, which stunk. And Rocketeer.
Oh, that's true. She wasn't. That's true.
She was also in the TV show of Snowpiercer.
Yeah, and Labyrinth is also like Brian Henson and Frank Oz and all those guys.
Yeah.
Whereas Legend, I don't know what was going on with Legend. I don't know.
They won. I think they won some awards for the makeup on Curry.
Maybe. He looks. I mean, he just looks amazing, unrecognizable.
I don't know how. I wonder how much that thing weighed on his head. They had like a suspension system for the horns. They were so massive. So anyway, we are at 8:00. So as usual, I have no idea what we're doing next week.
Nope. But they've already given us some ideas. Phil, I talked to Phil all day. I have no idea what he's going on. I should have at some point during the course of the day asked him. Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner this Friday. I'm sorry, that's a lie. This Sunday, July 30th at 7 p.m., he will be doing The Pink Panther Strikes Again, 1976, Jacques Cousteau.
Saw that in the theater.
Cousteau.
Saw that one in the theater.
That's an older one. The Pink Panther
Does your dog bite?
So funny.
I thought you said your dog does not bite. It's not my dog. Yeah, Peter Sellers, God, what a treasure he was. I mean, the guy was amazingly funny. So.
Oh yeah. That'll be a fun one. So those of you,
there's an interesting story when you think about it. I'm sure Roy will cover this. That the theme song, of course. Everybody knows that thing, and not only was it being so popular, it spun off onto a cartoon, a kid's cartoon on its own.
Yes, Pink Panther had his own
Pink Panther. So I knew that. I knew that before I knew the movie.
Clouseau, but
Yeah, but I knew that. I knew about the Pink Panther cartoon long before I knew the movie.
All the kids knew what the Pink Panther cartoon was.
Yeah. So. Anyway, so so we'll be back with something, and then we'll have a show next week, but then we're off for 2 weeks as our normal.
Yes, we are off. Rizzo's off and running. Chris LaRoche says Dark Crystal. We could throw Dark Crystal in with Legend and Labyrinth and just do a little fantasy night. I mean, that would be fun.
I don't know if I've ever seen Dark Crystal either. I think I've seen parts of it.
Oh, I love Dark Crystal, and I love the recent.
I only saw Legend once, I think.
Reboot or something. That's enough. Really. That's enough times to have.
It's not really my cup of tea.
Legends was Ridley Scott. It's visually stunning. It's a beautiful
I do remember that.
There's no plot, none whatsoever. But just to look at this thing,
it's just him trying to rescue her from the devil.
Yeah, it's him trying to rescue her.
Basically, something about a unicorn.
There's a unicorn in there, but it's beautiful. It's shot so beautifully because it's Ridley Scott.
It's basically like a fairy tale.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what both of those movies are. Legend. That's why I tend to mentally lump Legend and Labyrinth together in my head.
I think a lot of people do. It's one of those things that gets kind of paralleled. So Anyway, it is.
Yes.
After 8 o'clock.
Tilly is ripping up the pillow.
Ripping up the pillow. Hey, Till, there she's in the background. Like, what? I'm not doing anything. Look at that face.
Audience can see you, Tilly.
Yes. And luckily, my dog didn't start. I don't know where she is tonight. She's not here. No dreaming. So, all right, guys. Well, we will see you next week with something. We figured out. We always do. And then if we don't, maybe we'll see you at Trek on the Road. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see you there.
3 weeks. Only 3 weeks out. All right. Live long and prosper, folks. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.